Welcome everyone to the Chris Parrish Podcast. This is episode 66. My name is Chris Parrish, and I am so excited to be here. We had such a great PLE just last night. Can't wait to get into it. But first off, we must thank our beautiful sponsors in beercadewhyte, located at 10544 82nd Ave. You can find them on beercadewhyte on the Facebook, beercadewhyte on the Instagram, and beercadewhyte on X. That's right. If you were able to be there last night, you got to witness an amazing Elimination Chamber. And the next time you'll see me there live at location will be for WrestleMania on April 9th. That will be night one. Also, a shout out to Turnbuckle Studios and the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program. You can make sure you go to the affiliation program.my.canva.site for more information about joining not just podcasting but content creation, but also getting a top up of getting to know every single one of the members in the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program, as well as potentially reaching out, collaborating with anybody a part of the TAP. And then, let's get the elephant out of the room, shall we? John Cena is now a bad guy. At the conclusion of last night's Elimination Chamber PLE, we saw Cody Rhodes tell Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, "You can go F yourself." Try not to curse. Only for John Cena to kick him straight in his testicles, let's say. Now, what I didn't tell you is John Cena, in fact, won the Elimination Chamber match, and he is heading to face Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. But the biggest story is not who won the Chamber, but is who and what the winner did. John Cena has joined up with The Rock. He has sold his soul, and he now is taking the easy way to number 17. Let me know your thoughts about everything as we get to a few comments from Chris Best saying good afternoon, and I got you on the background. I'll get ready to go see Our Lady Peace tonight. Well, Chris, I hope you enjoy Our Lady Peace. Hopefully you hear all the classics like Clumsy and Superman is Dead, Automatic Flowers, much more. But the news last night, John Cena turning quote-unquote heel and selling his soul to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Now, that wasn't the only thing we saw last night. No, we saw Bianca Belair win the Women's Elimination Chamber after watching her former tag team champion partner Jade Cargill return to the WWE and not attacked Liv Morgan. No. The match was about to start with Liv Morgan and Naomi as the two to begin the chamber match, and then we heard a storm is coming. Jade Cargill walks down that aisle with a purpose. Liv Morgan's facial reaction was absolutely priceless. We will talk more about Liv Morgan in just a few minutes. But Jade Cargill does not take a swing at Liv. She takes the swing at Naomi, beats Naomi real bad. Bianca Belair absolutely shell-shocked, absolutely stunned, could not believe her eyes that now her new tag team partner just was unveiled as the attacker. We don't know just yet if she was an attacker or something else. We just know Jade Cargill don't like her. So, absolutely crazy to see, but SmackDown, I'm sure, on Friday is going to be one you can't miss. Because that's not even all. Randy Orton returns after the end of the Kevin Owens-Sami Zayn unsanctioned match to take his shot at Kevin Owens, only to see a setup potentially at WrestleMania. But Randy Orton, Jade Cargill, John Cena turning heel, that is what we missed if you didn't get a chance to watch Elimination Chamber. Let that sink in. We are 2025, and John Cena has, quote-unquote, turned heel, brother. He has joined the dark side. He is choosing not to showcase hustle, loyalty, and respect on Quest for 17. I think the bigger question now is, why join The Rock? Why John Cena? Why? That is the question we are now asking, because we all know the question why is the most important question to ask in all of professional wrestling. But what we did see was a lot of clarity going into WrestleMania 41. We now know that Bianca Belair will challenge the winner of Io Sky or Rhea Ripley. That match will take place tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw. So make sure you're checking out the Raw Patrol over at Turnbuckle Studios tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. But yeah, Bianca Belair, that number one contender. We now know that John Cena faces Cody Rhodes. We now know Gunther faces Jey Uso, and Tiffany Stratton will face Charlotte. We know Randy Orton seems to want Kevin Owens. So it looks like WrestleMania is starting to truly shape up and take a nice, clear pathway. But what's everything else going to happen? And what are the other matches that we will see in the next month and about 6 weeks? Actually, a month and just a little over a month. Talking about Liv Morgan earlier, saying I do want to talk about her because holy crap, people. If you did not get to see Monday Night Raw last week, you missed one hell of a tag team match between Raquel Rodriguez, Liv Morgan, going up against then the tag team champions Naomi and Bianca Belair. But let me tell you this, that match, absolutely fantastic. These four women absolutely won all out and showcased everything they could do and then some. That was one of the better tag team matches I've seen in a very long time. Only to come to Elimination Chamber, and we saw Liv Morgan almost go bell to bell in that chamber match. Absolutely amazing performance. And dare I say, Liv Morgan is now not just another woman on the roster. She is easily a megastar on that roster. When you talk about the women's division, you want to talk about the Charlotte Flairs, the Rhea Ripleys. You can now officially add Liv Morgan's name to that mix because she is now one of the top players in that division. You can add Becky Lynch, Bayley, but you definitely need to add Liv Morgan to that. Her growth in the last year has just been phenomenal. And I think a lot of us knew she was good and had a lot of potential. Now we're seeing everything come to fruition. everything being put together. And now we're seeing the excellence that is Liv Morgan, whether it's singles or tag. And I just think we cannot sleep anymore on this talent. We need to understand and recognize just how good Liv Morgan is inside that squared circle. Whether it was Monday Night Raw's tag match or whether or not it was Elimination Chamber, those are just prime examples of how good she is. And it doesn't matter how much she gets beat up, because she got beat up in that chamber. But to continuously rise and just do what she does helps out every single opponent she's in the ring with by doing the absolute best. And just anytime you have a match with Liv Morgan, you step up because you know you're getting a good match out of it. She's going to do everything she has to do to make not only herself look good, but more importantly, make the other look good. I think that is a sign of a Hall of Famer. That's right. I believe Liv Morgan, when it's all said and done, is a first ballot Hall of Famer in the future. Just an absolute pleasure to watch. And just kind of finish off Elimination Chamber, Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus defeated Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. Kevin Owens did defeat Sami Zayn in the unsanctioned match. And those are the 4 matches that we got. So my question, just like the thumbnail that you see for this show, did WWE get it right at the Elimination Chamber match? That is the big question. That is the question we all want to know. We are less than 24 hours removed from the PLE, but the question remains, did WWE get it right at Elimination Chamber? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. But my opinion, absolutely. What I thought was very unfortunate in this whole thing is that, yes, Sami Zayn right now not in a picture going into WrestleMania. All year he has multiple things going on. Multiple. Whether it's Bloodline, whether it was Gunther last year at WrestleMania, whether it's anything to do with the Intercontinental Championship, whether it's Karrion Kross, whether it's doing something to help somebody else. He always had something going on. Now we're 6 weeks shy of WrestleMania, and it doesn't seem like there's a clear picture for Sami Zayn in WrestleMania. So, in a way, I feel that's a little unfortunate. So I'm very curious to see what WWE does for Sami Zayn, because I don't think you can not have Sami Zayn on WrestleMania. For Kevin Owens, clearly, you know what his WrestleMania is going to be. It's Randy Orton. And I think that's a match we all want to see. We all are excited to see Randy Orton get his revenge on Kevin Owens for taking him out. We also want to see Randy Orton just back on our screens, because Randy Orton is one of the best going today. In terms of the participants in the Elimination Chamber, it sure looks like we have Jade Cargill going after Naomi. The developments inside this Elimination Chamber, we saw Liv Morgan eliminate Alexa Bliss. So, are we seeing Alexa Bliss going to go after the tag team championships that are held by Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan? But if that's the case, who teams up with Alexa Bliss? Now, if we want to connect some dots, we've been seeing the Wyatt 6 glitches anytime Alexa Bliss is on screen. I think Nikki Cross is that perfect person to team up with Alexa Bliss. And then this now seems like it's closer and closer to maybe Wyatt 6 versus Judgment Day. And then we have Bayley. Now, Roxanne Perez and Bayley did have something going on, but will we see something like that at WrestleMania? We got Bobby Bonito, Bobby Stats coming in, saying, hey, hello, Bobby, how you doing? We're talking pathways to WrestleMania right now, and we're discussing a little bit of where do we see the participants on the Women's Chamber. Talked about Naomi and Jade Cargill. Talked about Bianca Belair. Now going to WrestleMania, she won, going up against Rhea Ripley or Io Sky. Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez possibly defending the tag team titles against Alexa Bliss and, in my eyes, Nikki Cross. Talking now Bayley and Roxanne Perez, as I don't think Roxanne Perez is officially up just yet. I do think she will conclude her NXT run at Stand and Deliver. Whether or not that is a match with Bayley or whether or not, in my eyes, I think that's a match with Cora Jade. But I do think the night after WrestleMania, Roxanne Perez will be a mainstay on Raw or SmackDown. But we can see something with Bayley, and I don't think that is something to say no on. I think eventually we will see it. Something will be done, but the question is this going to be at WrestleMania or sometime else? Then we go to the men's Elimination Chamber. Obviously, we know John Cena and Cody Rhodes. It sure looks like CM Punk and Seth Rollins have unfinished business, as Seth Rollins did cost CM Punk the opportunity to go to WrestleMania, as after he was eliminated, he did curb stomp CM Punk, only for CM Punk to be pinned by the winner, John Cena. And yes, those were the final two in the Elimination Chamber. Bobby coming in saying, nice to see Roxanne Perez competing in the Women's Elimination Chamber. She not only set the record for the longest time in the Royal Rumble match last month, but yes, she had a heck of a showing at Elimination Chamber. Bobby, let us know in the comments what your highlight of Elimination Chamber was last night and what you feel was your match of the night, if those two things are not the same. I think Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest are aligned, as we saw Drew McIntyre yet get rolled up once again, this time by Damian Priest. So now we're looking at potentially Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre, something that was rumored coming out of the Royal Rumble match, but we weren't sure. Is that still something that they were heading? And it looks like the answer is yes. So CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Damian Priest, and Drew McIntyre. That just leaves Logan Paul. Bobby coming in saying, my highlight moment was John Cena turning heel, and the match of the night was Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. Bobby, I gotta ask, Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton seems like it's their direct pathway to WrestleMania. Where do you put Sami Zayn's quest at WrestleMania? What do you think Sami Zayn is going to do? Now, as you answer that, I'm going to go back to Logan Paul. What does he do? Well, we did see a tease on Monday Night Raw again for AJ Styles, and I do think that is something to look at. I do like Logan Paul versus AJ Styles. I think that has intriguing possibilities. It has AJ Styles in WrestleMania, but it also allows Logan Paul to have a highlighted match against somebody very, very, I don't want to say worthy, but just very much like it's a former champion, very decorated. AJ Styles, future Hall of Famer, clearly one of the best in our current generation. Bobby coming in and saying maybe Sami Zayn goes after the Intercontinental Championship again. I do think at some point we're going to see Sami Zayn and Karrion Kross officially meet up, as we've seen Karrion Kross lurking around. Now, I did mention Sami Zayn. He's been somebody of note that he's been looking around after. Karrion Kross has also been looking around AJ Styles, as we saw that on Raw as well. So I can't help but wonder, are we seeing a connection here? Could we see potentially all four men do something? Remains to be seen. No, we're not sure. Because, I mean, if we talk AJ Styles, I can't help but say, well, Finn Balor. Or is that Judgment Day versus Wyatt 6 something that involves every single one? If you're hearing that little bloop, don't worry. It's just my phone going off. My nephew's team is just taking names in their hockey game. That's all I'm getting. Notifications about how good of a hockey team they are. But yeah, absolutely intriguing show last night. Elimination Chamber definitely absolutely crushed it. We saw not one weak match in my eyes. Everything really raised level. The women's chamber, not only did all 6 women crush it, but seeing Jade Cargill come back, we saw a little bit of clarity on who attacked her. And we saw a lot of aggression coming out of Jade Cargill. I think that's something that not a lot of people are talking about, just the aggression Jade Cargill showed in that attack of Naomi. Absolutely vicious, especially when she had Naomi kind of laying down in between the inside of the cage and outside, just taking that sliding door and just right into the gut of Naomi. That looked painful. I mean, there's things that in life that just look comfortable. That did not look like one of them. Again, Randy Orton. Absolutely fantastic show. Let me know your thoughts. That's going to be the Chris Parrish Podcast question of the week was, where do you rank Elimination Chamber? Questions are going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's going to be a ranking out of 5. 5 being the best, 1 being the worst. Bobby Gunman saying, I did enjoy watching Trish Stratus in action again. I'm interested to see who Trish Stratus goes against next. And yeah, that's also another thing to take note. We got Trish Stratus back in the ring one more time. Now, it'll be curious to see if she does have, other obligations with WWE, or unless is this potentially just a one-off to not only wrestle in Toronto, but also help Tiffany Stratton. So, and that's another question too. Tiffany Stratton has her direct opponent at WrestleMania in Charlotte. Is Trish Stratus going to wrestle? Is Nia Jax or Candice LeRae going to be there? That remains to be seen. If by chance she is not done, I wouldn't mind seeing something with Nia Jax. Could we see Trish Stratus with someone else go up against Candice LeRae and Nia? Do we see Nia Jax versus Trish Stratus? Or, again, possibility, maybe this was a one and done for Trish. So it's going to be very intriguing to see the next 6 weeks going towards WrestleMania because, again, as much clarity as we got last night at Elimination Chamber, we still have unanswered questions. Why? Because nothing has been complete yet. WrestleMania is not completed yet. The build-up, the match card, everything still has room. So the question for us now is how will it be completed? We still haven't talked about any tag team titles. We haven't talked about either intercontinental titles or even any United States championships. We just have clarity on the women's championships and the men's major championships. Right on cue, Bobby coming in saying, which men's tag team champions do you think could be defended at WrestleMania? I'm going to go with both, Bobby. You got 2 nights of WrestleMania. I don't see why you can't have both. The question is, will WWE Creative do the same thing? I mean, I would like to see the Creed brothers win the tag team titles from the War Raiders, but at the same time, not if we don't see much of that build-up going to WrestleMania, because I just don't want to see the War Raiders win the tag titles, not do much with them, only to lose. But I do have a feeling that there is stock on the Creed brothers, and I do think WrestleMania makes a lot of sense for the Creed brothers to win. And then I do think we're going to see a multi-team match at WrestleMania for the WWE tag team titles that are currently held by DIY. I do think Street Profits. I do think Motor City Machine Guns. I do think Los Garza. I think Legado del Fantasma can be in the mix, and Pretty Deadly as well. So maybe we get TLC. Maybe we get a ladder match. That seems to be the sexy pick. Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't mind seeing this very team walk out of WrestleMania with tag team gold. Chris Best coming in saying, I get a feeling that they aren't done with Trish. They could put her in a Mania match against Nia, as he said, a tag match. And the tag match is, this case, maybe we get Lita. And that's a direction we can go. Can we go to the nostalgic back to Trish and Lita? Or do we see Trish doing what she did in helping Tiffany Stratton with somebody else? Now, my question is, do we see Trish Stratus even maybe stay side by side with Tiffany Stratton? Ride through it WrestleMania. Maybe, just maybe, hear me out, maybe we get Trish Stratus being in the corner of Tiffany only to turn on Tiffany at WrestleMania, and maybe post-Mania we get Tiffany Stratton versus Trish Stratus. Now, I want to get back to the Naomi and Jade Cargill thing, because I don't believe Naomi was the only one a part of this. It could be revealed that she was the attacker, but just like anything else, did she attack by herself? Because I thought a lot of things were very noticeable, and that was Jade Cargill attacked Naomi. It looked like she was going to go after Liv, but no. She took out Naomi. Now, she only took out Naomi because that was the only person she was able to get at, because the other option was Liv. But if Liv Morgan was innocent, there was no need. But if somebody else in this match had something to do with it, Jade Cargill could not attack them because they were in a pod. If you see where I'm going with this, I do think Bianca Belair is not innocent in this either. I do think her and Naomi acted together in this. And how I would book this is simple. I think Rhea Ripley defeats Bianca Belair night 1 of WrestleMania. And I do believe that we see Jade Cargill versus Naomi at night 2. And I think we will see Bianca Belair turn on Jade Cargill at WrestleMania to either give the win to Naomi or post-match and have a moment. And we will see heel Bianca Belair. Bobby, I like the out-of-the-box thinking here. That is something I enjoy. What if the Meta Girls helped Naomi attack Jade Cargill? Now, this is one I like because I've heard a lot of rumors that the Meta Girls have been rumored to be moved up to the main roster for quite some time. However, I've also heard similar arguments that the reason why we haven't seen anything come to fruition, and there was maybe a reset on plans, was due to upper creative thinking that Lash Legend needs a little bit more experience before it's there. Now, I don't know if any of this is true. I am not behind the curtain here. I don't work for WWE, and I don't know. All I can do is speculate. All I can say is, Bobby, I like the out-of-the-box thinking here because that was not on my radar, but I appreciate it, and I think that would be a great way to introduce them to the main roster if that was your plan. Great idea. Chris Best coming in saying, I think Bianca was the mastermind because while she screamed why, she also cowered in fear. Now, I think it was easy to say she was shell-shocked. I think she might have been the only one in that building who was shell-shocked about the whole idea. But I'm very curious to see not only who Jade Cargill I'm not only curious to hear what Jade Cargill has to say, but I'm also curious to see if there's something more to the story, because I don't believe that what we know is all we will find out. I do think more is going to come out of this, and that's why we watch the product. Because what we now know is that it's not just black and white anymore with storylines, which is great. There's always more to the story. And I think this is just too important going into WrestleMania. And I say too important, whereas you can tell WWE is being very specific and being very upfront with what they're doing with Jade Cargill in terms of direction. And I don't think you're going to do anything to Jade Cargill that makes her look weak or really bad at the end. And I say this with an assumption that Bianca Belair and Naomi will remain together in the long haul, and we will see Bianca Belair versus Jade Cargill at some point. But then now that's 2 against 1, and that's where I'm saying I just don't think Jade Cargill is going to look like she's weak. There's going to be somebody that can come help her. And right now, I think the perfect person could be Becky Lynch. This could be a great way to bring Becky Lynch into the fold, and we can go there. Because I would have time for Becky Lynch against a Naomi, Becky Lynch against a Bianca Belair, while Bianca and Naomi are the heels in this group. It's fresh, it's different, and now we're getting Jade Cargill in a position where she can work with one of the best female talents that WWE has, and I'll even say potentially one of the best all time. So the direction is going to be very intriguing. It's going to be very interesting. My question is, what more are we going to find out? And how do they add onto this story? Because I don't think we are even remotely close to the finished product. And that is what I'm so excited to tune into the Raws and SmackDowns to see now. I am absolutely just intrigued now with Cody Rhodes more than I've ever been. And I say this because not only now does it feel like we have Cody Rhodes standing his ground against Dwayne Johnson, but how sympathetic was Cody Rhodes last night? And I say this because we talked about the relatability factor with Stone Cold Steve Austin back in his time, right? Because who didn't want to go to the corporate boss and give him the middle finger, drink a couple beers on the job, and just say, oh, hell yeah, and then give him a Stone Cold Star? It was relatable, right? A lot of disgruntled employees wanted to, take a swing at the boss. Stone Cold Steve Austin did it on TV every week. How relatable was Cody Rhodes last night when he told Dwayne Johnson to go F himself? How many times have we been in that position where we wanted to say that to a boss and then got punished because he didn't do exactly what the boss wanted him to do? And that was something that unethically was something Cody Rhodes didn't want to do. I think that is very relatable. Like whether or not it's, it could be whatever situation you have, but like Cody Rhodes standing up for his own rights. He wants to be the people's champion, not Dwayne's champion, which is very ironic given the fact that Dwayne at one point considered himself the people's champion. Now, Dwayne Johnson wants the people's champion all to himself. I gotta wonder if Roman Reigns, though, is going to take any inclusion into this story. Remains to be seen, because obviously the last time we saw him was Royal Rumble, where he got beat up by Seth Rollins. But staying on Cody Rhodes, I'm very intrigued with what they're going to do with him next, because just when you thought, okay, maybe this is the time that they pull the trigger and turn Cody Rhodes heel, well, now they body slam you with another way of saying, okay, this is how I can get behind Cody Rhodes as a babyface. Maybe I'm not yet done cheering for this guy. There's just another layer of emotion that I'm now invested in Cody Rhodes. Because of all people, John Cena turns heel on you. John Cena has never turned heel in his career. Let's just say that. He truly never turned heel. A lot of people are like, well, yeah, he was the rapper and he was a good guy before that. Okay, but what did he actually do? Anybody inform me what he actually did for that transition? Or did it just kind of suddenly happen? And I think that's something to take note. Cody Rhodes right now is the only guy that I remember who John Cena has transitioned his role of babyface heel on. Bobby coming in saying, I'm interested to see if we see a heel John Cena beating Cody Rhodes because of The Rock. And I think I'm intrigued because, yes, is that what we're going to get at WrestleMania? And will we see a fight of Cody Rhodes trying to get the title back from John Cena? But here's also something that I'm curious about. Is what we're seeing exactly what's going to happen? In the sense of, Is John Cena a potential pawn in all this? I don't think so, because John Cena turning heel is a monumental moment here. Something that does not happen very often. In fact, as I said, I believe this is his only heel turn in his career. But it's a new era. We can't ever say no in this era, can we? So my question, is John Cena a potential pawn for Dwayne Johnson? Is John Cena just there to fulfill a short-term need for The Rock because Cody said no? I don't know. All I do know is clearly John Cena going up against Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania is that passing of the torch type match. It's that making John Cena a potential 17-time world champion type match. It's, they're going to it, and I don't think there's anything wrong with doing it now. I just think you're also at a point where you didn't have to rush it, but I understand why you do it. Why? Because this is the time you have. Don't worry about the time you think you have. Worry about the time you do have. And in this retirement tour, WWE is focusing on the time they know they have, and the time they have is right now. So in all words, couldn't be spoken better. In terms of number 17, John Cena's time might be right now. Very intriguing. Very curious to see kind of where they're going. But for right now, we're just going to watch a video from the Turnbuckle Studios, sponsored by the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program, seeing what's on the docket this week. Checking out the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program sponsored calendar. Check it out.
Turnbuckle Studios and the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program bring you the week of streams. All times are in Eastern Time. Monday nights you get the Locker Room Breakdown at 7 p.m., followed by the Raw Patrol at 8 p.m. Tuesday brings you the flagship show, Turnbuckle Talk, at 8:05 p.m. Wednesday we play games with the PlayStation Showcase at 8 p.m. Thursday we got total non-stop action with Brace for Impact at 8 p.m. Friday we game again with Unleashed, the Jessica Wilde story at 7 p.m. Following the game, join us for the SmackDown Security Detail at 8 p.m. The weekend brings you Saturday Night Gaming at 8 p.m. On Sunday be sure to catch the Chris Parrish podcast at 12:15 p.m. followed by the Boar's Nest at 8 p.m. Be part of the shows and join the chat every day.
And of course, that calendar can always be updated, always be changed. So it's very, very important to always check out every stream from the Turnbuckle Studios and Turnbuckle Affiliation Program, because you just never know what updates will come up. Also, if you want to go to affiliationprogram.my.canva.site, not only can you potentially get your logo, your show on that video, but what you can also do is work in a collaboration effort with anybody on any of these shows, including the Chris Parrish podcast that you're viewing right now. So it's very important to go to affiliationprogram.my.canva.site, which, by the way, if you haven't gone, it's a refurbished website now. There's been a lot of updates and a lot of work done to it. You can thank Turnbuckle Studios creator Carl Carafel for that. He has done some amazing work. And you might not always see him on screen at times, but behind the scenes, he is a busy man and always doing a lot of work to help improve Turnbuckle Studios, including I mean, come on. That logo that we're seeing. Yes, I'm not doing it justice because I just cover it in gold on this show. Because, I mean, I like gold. It's kind of my thing. But with the purple, everything just pops out. It's a beautiful change. Beautiful look. Back to the comments, back to the wrestling conversation, because Bobby Petito is coming in saying, who do you think goes against Lyra Valkyria for the Women's Intercontinental Championship? And I think if we're not watching Raw right now, quite obvious. I think Ivy Nile is set up very well to compete against Lyra Valkyria for the Intercontinental Championship. I think it's very intriguing to see this. If the Creeds do fight for the tag team titles and Ivy Nile goes after the Intercontinental Championship, it seems like that group is going after championships for WrestleMania. Bobby coming in saying, I like the gold turnbuckle studios. You know, I do too. There's something about black and gold that just it just looks very good. That's why a lot of competitors want to get that black strap with gold plates. But in this case, it's the white strap with gold plates. But nonetheless, people like gold. Pro wrestling, you like gold. Lyra Valkyria loves her Intercontinental Championship as she is the inaugural IC champ on the women's side. I do see Ivy Nile going up against Lyra at WrestleMania. I think that is a direction you can go. It'll be very intriguing to see if that's the only person, or will maybe they do something different. Maybe there'll be a ladder match for the Women's Intercontinental Championship, and we can see Bayley. Maybe we do see Roxanne Perez. Maybe we see Dakota Kai. Maybe we see just other people as well. Alba Fire, great suggestion. As Bobby coming in saying, it would be nice to see a build-up contender for Women's Intercontinental Championship like Alba Fire, Zoe Starks, or Natalya on Raw. And that's just it. The talent pool is large. We have a lot of options when it comes to the women's division. And I think that's the intriguing thing out of the whole thing is, what do we see moving forward? But yeah, right now it does look like Ivy Nile is at the front line of that. But again, 6 weeks is a long time. That is 6 Raws, 6 SmackDowns before WrestleMania. A lot of things can be done towards that. If you're looking, think about it. This is what, almost 15, potentially 18 hours of Raw, 18 hours of SmackDown. That's a lot of content. That's a lot of time that we could use to clarify the picture that is WrestleMania. But yeah, no, I do think Ivy Nile against Lyra Valkyria could be there. And yeah, we do have NXT, and that just shows you how much WWE puts out every week. It's crazy because it's another 2+ hours every week. So yeah, another 12 to 18 hours just of NXT. And yeah, and we're gonna see for the first time Julia versus Stephanie McCure on my birthday, by the way, the 11th of March. Title champion versus champion. One woman, Stephanie McCure or Julia, will walk out with both the NXT Women's and North American and Championship. So, very intriguing. Very, very intriguing. Not only are we seeing a monster match that has not been done yet in WWE, but we're also seeing the stakes being so high that even RVD would get involved with. But it's crazy because is there a clear-cut winner? I don't know. My money's on Stephanie McCure. I know Julia just won the title here, but I I have a feeling Stephanie's going to win this. Bobby coming in said, I'm looking forward to watching TNA wrestlers like Matt and Jeff Hardy versus Phyraxium and Moose versus Obafemi at Roadblock. And that's just it. Now, I'm a little torn. I got to tell people, I'm torn. Roadblock is coming live to you on March 11th. That is my birthday. Now, I don't really get to watch wrestling live on my birthday very often. I don't get a lot of cool wrestling on my birthday. However, I do have some time off from the day-to-day job. Do I do the RIP for Turnbuckle talk? Or do I go a solo Sokoa and do something for Roadblock? Just here on my own. I don't know. I'm torn because I don't want to overstep boundaries, but I also just want to, celebrate. Can't do both. I'm too old to do that. All I know is I'm going to be very, very intrigued with NXT Roadblock. I'm going to have that going. Bobby, I'm just like you. I'm very intrigued with this partnership of WWE, NXT, TNA. Because not only do we have Stephanie versus Julia just in that women's title picture, you also have to wonder what's the next plans for Jordynne Grace, And here's something that I'm very much curious too. If we're going to see one woman hold both titles, are we going to see, is this the end of the North American Championship? Or do we see something else come out? Because it's really, really much a deep division as well. Because you wonder if there's only one women's champion. Okay. Are we going to see more from, the Kalani Jordans? Are we going to see more from the Jada Parkers, the Lola Vices, the Carmen Petrovic's? There is so much female talent on NXT that I'm curious to see if that's going to get pushed aside because of the lack of championships for the women in NXT. So it's going to be very intriguing. Bobby Conan saying on a recent episode of TNA, NXT wrestler Ora Mensa was on TNA and he went up against Mike Santana. How cool would it be to see Mike Santana come to the WWE? How cool would it be for Layla Hirsch to come to the WWE as it's official? Her AEW departure is confirmed. So do we see Layla Hirsch maybe come to the Performance Center and debut in NXT? We also know that WWE is reportedly working on immediate plans to not only bring in Malachi, a.k.a. Aleister Black, a.k.a. Tommy End, but also Rey Fenix. Oh, it's being rumored that a lot of AEW departures are yet to come. Apparently, the rumor mill is swirling around that we could see Tony Khan meet up with some talents and work towards getting their contracts removed, thus creating more free agents, thus creating more movement. There's a lot of rumblings with, talents like Ricky Starks, now known as Ricky Saints, but Miro, Malachi Black, they all seem to be free agents. Now we see Layla Hirsch, although she was never removed from her contract. Her contract just expired. Very similar to Shayna Baszler and Baron Corbin. And then, we still have to talk about the walking weapon. A lot of people said right from the get-go, use AEW. But is he? It's been very quiet on that front. So, not saying no, just not saying maybe it's not true. Maybe, just maybe, Josh Alexander hasn't actually decided yet. But be very curious to see where he goes moving forward. So that's all this on top of all the amazing stuff going on, whether it's NXT, SmackDown, Raw, just in WWE in general. It's a lot. And that's just that bubble. We haven't even tackled the AEW one. So just to show that is this not the best time to be a pro wrestling fan? Bobby coming in saying Layla Hirsch would be a great addition to NXT Women's Division or TNA Knockouts Division. Absolutely. Absolutely. But that kind of is where we're at right now. We are absolutely slam-packed with options. Absolutely slam-packed with just giddiness because there's so much going on, but so little time. Because that is all we can get for this episode of the Chris Parrish Podcast. If you want to be like Bobby Bonito, you can also like this video. If you're on the YouTube side of things, if you're on the Facebook, please throw that one of those emotes on. I don't even care if it's a thumbs down. Just do something. It'd be great. I prefer the thumbs up or the heart emoji. It'd just be more positive, and I'd appreciate that. Or if you're on the Twitch side of things, subscribe, like, and subscribe. And if you're on the X, please reply or respond as well. Like, comment. Just engage. All I care about is engagement. I want to have fun with everyone. This is a lot more enjoyable when everyone is active and we're all talking. This is just one big conversation. And then over at the Instagram as well. You can check that out. All of these beautiful platforms that I just talked about are named the 5 platforms of doom. Yeah, I take on the 5 moves of doom. But, since I got 5, it's kind of what it is. But all of them plus the Spotify. Yes, you can check out the Chris Parrish Podcast on Spotify. All episodes are on there. You will get episode 66's current one uploaded right after we finish up. So go check that out. All of these can be found on my link tree at linktr.ee/Chris Parrish. All that and more. So if you can, please go and check that out. If you can, rate the episode, rate the podcast. That would be great as well. But I really appreciate the support. That is where we can make and grow and just do so much more great things. So I know I need you for that. That's why I ask. Also want to give a shout out to the proud sponsor of the Chris Parrish Podcast, beercadewhyte, located on beercadewhyte on the X, beercadewhyte on Instagram and Facebook, located at 10544 82nd Avenue. The next time you will see Chris Parrish at Beercade will be for WrestleMania Night 1 on Saturday, April 19th. So come check that out. Reserve your seats or, heck, open up a spot right next to me. It'll be a fun time. I believe pizzas will be 50% off. Can you believe that? It's going to be a lot of fun. Not to mention, you can also grab some tokens and play some great arcade games. And it's a lot of fun. They got Mario Kart there. They got Mario Kart. It's a lot of fun. But that's going to do it for episode 66 of the Chris Parrish Podcast. Once again, I say thank you so much, not only for everyone who's taken their time out of their day to spend it with me, but also thank you, everyone, for the love and support that you've always shared. I know I can't do this without you, nor do I want to do this without you, because it's a lot more fun when we get to do it together. But the time is now to wish you guys all a happy Sunday. But remember, If you ain't saying who dat, remember, go Saints. But at the end of the day, be yourself, because you matter. Have a good one, everyone. See you next week.
Rip through the clouds, faster, catch us from falling close to the ground. Perish or try.